Hello YouTube, welcome to Dragon's Dojo Gaming. My name is Andrew Sellers. For those of you who don't know, I run a gaming store up in Umatilla, Florida in Lake County with the same name as my channel, Dragon's Dojo Gaming. If you ever want to come visit at the shop, search us up on Google Maps and you will find out from looking us up on there. Also, I am about to do a video for my first deck profile, and it will be for Nirvana, a deck that you all have seen on my older videos. And I just want you all to know that it's built a little differently from how I had it built originally. There are cards you've seen in the videos that will not be in this deck profile. So let's get started, shall we? To start things off, I run Trickstar as my starter. The reason I run Trickstar instead of Dragon Egg as the starter is because I can Soul Blast it with Nirvana's skill when using it to search for regular Virina. And I can call it from my drop zone using grade 3 or grade 4 Nirvana skills. Basically, it's easy to call it it's easier to get it on my board by sending it to my drop zone. Just how I like to use my preference and build though. If you wanna use the Dragon Egg for your starter, it's your call. But I personally prefer to use Trickstar as my starter to get it out faster. For the ride deck, I run the standard Reno, Ryu, Nirvana lineup. Next up for the triggers, I run 4 heal, 3 draws, and 8 critical, and the overtrigger. Overtrigger is a must, specifically Dragveta. From what I've seen, most builds run the draw trigger at 4. I personally prefer to run it at 3 because the deck has enough draw power already, and because I like the crit pressure from having 8 critical triggers. Next up, for the main deck, I run 3 Trickstar. Trickstar is a must to run at 4, whether you're playing 3 in the main deck with 1 as your starter, or if you're running a whole playset in the main deck with Dragon Egg as your starter. Because the deck's kind of dead without Trickstar. I run 4 PGs. This is my grade 1 lineup, by the way. And 4 Blaze Monk. I absolutely love Blaze Monk in this deck. I see most builds run it at 4, and I agree that it is really good at 4. Because when you're on grade 4, it's basically a free drop zone searcher. Next up, for grade 2s, I run 4 Virina Arcs. Card's great because it's a pot of greed in the deck. And who doesn't like a low-cost pot of greed? I run 2 Virina in the main deck. I see most builds run Virina at 1. My old build ran it at 1, but I decided to switch to 2 because if one of them hits your drop zone, you can just add the other to your hand using Nirvana's grade 3 Nirvana search skill. Next up, I run 2 Valiente because it's a continuous restander and those are nice. I run 2 Expecta He's an amazing finisher. Unless your opponent has a PG in hand, this card makes it to where your opponent's basically dead. Or if they have enough guard power to block the attack and use up at least the majority of their hand to stop him. Next up for grade 4s, I run 4 Nirvana. 4 Nirvana is a must in the deck. It's really good. Gives your front row 10k if you have an overdressed unit, and you can deal effect damage from reviving Trickstar with its skill. And finally, the beast of the deck. 3 copies of Nirvana Espirieta. My old build had it at 2, but I decided to bump it back to 3. I originally thought having it at 3 took up a little bit of space, but then I've realized it didn't. And yeah. The cards just... I've also managed to get 14 cards stacked under this guy before. Yeah, this guy's a freaking beast. I love this guy. Yeah. I used to play Prayer of Resonating Wishes in the deck, but then I took the deck out because all the deck really gives you is extra draw power, and the deck fights good enough without the extra stuff. Next, I'm about to pull out some units and explain some combos for the deck that I've come up with. So, one of the combos I have come up with is, let's see, is riding Nirvana, using a skill to counterblast 1, Soul Blast regular Nirvana, then Superior Call regular Trickstar from the drop zone, then deal a damage to my opponent, then overdress into then normal call Trickstar from the hand, then overdress into Arcs, use its skill to get the draw 2, then go into Valiente, then go into Expecta, and then overdress into Espirieta, and get all the Nirvana and Trickstar units from my drop zone and stack them under him. This board's amazing because you're guaranteed to have a lot. Because each of your attacks are guaranteed to swing for a high amount of power. Oh, I've also had these 2 in the soul with this combo. So you swing with Espirieta for 23,000 first. Next, you swing with your Vanguard and activate Espirieta's skill to Soul Blast a unit, restand him, and give him power equal to the number of units stacked under him. I typically have 5 to 7 units stacked under him whenever I go into Espirieta. And then you swing with Expecta first, and then use its skill to gain the extra crit while having a huge amount of power. With having Valiente, Arcs, and Trickstar in your overdress, it's guaranteed to get at least 28,000 power from having those 2 stacked under him, and 15 from his auto skill, and plus 10 from Nirvana's continuous skill. Your opponent will either end up using a perfect guard or will use up most of their hand to guard against his attack, and then I swing with Expecta for at least 48,000 power. And yeah, that's one of the biggest combos of my deck that I've pulled off. Well, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you all really enjoyed it. Once again, please like and subscribe for more content. And I hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful day tomorrow as well. Peace out, YouTube.